Welcome to my channel. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's 2022 and this is my first new video of the year and I'm really excited about the topic. We are talking about languages and I'm giving 5 tips that I've learned over the years of how to learn a language. And this list is by no means exhaustive. I am not an expert, so please, do your research as well. But as someone who's been to, I think about 62 countries now, and I've lived in 5 different countries, 3 of them were not English speaking, primarily English speaking anyway. So I've got my fair share of experience with language learning. So I've got 5 tips for you guys, and this video is actually sponsored by Babbel, which is a language learning app that I absolutely love, and so that's going to be tip number 1 for you. It is such a good interactive app and I love that it makes it so accessible because the lessons are only about 10 minutes long, so if you've only got 10 minutes you can do a nice little bite-sized language lesson. And they do say consistency with use of the app is scientifically proven to get you speaking that new language in as little as 3 weeks. It's not generated through a bot or an algorithm or using artificial intelligence. Real language teachers have put this material that you're going to receive, and I like that they've got several different ways that you can learn a language. So if you want to use the app interactively, that's amazing, but you can also use their podcasts. They've got videos, they offer live sessions as well, which I always think is a great benefit, and that's going to be a tip I share a little bit later. But then additionally, they've got a 20-day money-back guarantee. So if you've started it, you get a couple weeks into it and you realize, oh, this app's not really for me, or it's not working how I thought it would, then you've got nothing to lose because you can get your money back as well. And then lastly, I really love that Babbel is more than just a language app. It actually still focuses on things like the culture and the history behind that language that you're learning to give it that much more meaning and that much more context for you. Les chaussures. It's just you. And luckily, Babbel has given me a really good offer to share with you. You get 65% off of your Babbel subscription if you use my link in the description box below. I don't think I mentioned it yet, but I want to spend a month in Paris this year and will absolutely be using this app to get me ready, to get me prepared to go, because Paris to me is one of the most beautiful cities in the world. I absolutely love it, and I love with French language, we don't want to get too off topic and go too into detail, but really quickly, I love about French language is that between the language, the culture, the architecture, I feel like romance and leisure are just notions that are woven into every aspect of their language, of their architecture, of their community and their culture. And I know everyone has their own experiences when they travel somewhere, but for me, Paris and France itself has always been a place that has welcomed me and been wonderful. So I absolutely look forward to going back, but I would love to be able to speak more of the language, which I will be using my app and getting some more lessons in. Okay, so I've got 4 more tips for you guys. Number 2 is knowing your why. So like I've just explained there, these are all the reasons and things that have given me such great motivation to learn French more, but you've got to have your reason for why you want to learn a language. And when you really know that why, it'll help keep you motivated, help you keep you staying on your routine and coming back to the app so that you can get your lessons done and get that retention and really learn more about that language and community that you wanted to learn. And then number 3, consume media in that language. So actually one of the things that inspired me to fall in love with French culture is a film called Love Me If You Dare in English, but in French it's called Le Jeu des Enfants. And it's basically this beautiful love story that's done in a very quirky, really typical French cinematography, cinematographic way. I always say that word and fumble it, so I hope I said it right. But it's done in a very French style, and I said to myself after watching it a few times, I've seen it many, I said one day I will watch this film and I will not need the subtitles, and so that is one of the reasons that I fell in love with French. But with that in mind, consuming French media is a great way for me to practice. But if you want to watch films in your language that you're trying to learn, maybe even reading books, reading daily newspaper articles, or even consuming children's material, something that might be written in a lower comprehension level, so it allows you to start with those easier vocabulary words and easier sentence structures so that you can really get a hand on the language and get a chance to practice it a bit. So watching movies with the subtitles is a great way for you to kind of hear the language more and start to correlate the sounds and the pronunciation to the words that you're seeing on the screen. Okay, so tip number 4, I would really highly suggest doing the live sessions. So just like in the app, they've got these live sessions you can do. If you have access to someone in person, that's awesome too. Maybe you've got a friend who speaks that language, or maybe somebody else wants to do foreign exchange and they're trying to learn the language you already speak. So that is a really handy way for you to get a bit more practice. And then 5th and final way of what I I think really helps. Obviously, when travel is a bit more accessible and more open, and if it fits within your budget, going to the destination is a huge tip and a great way for you to learn the language. Whenever I've been living and being fully immersed in a language is when I've had the best success at learning it. So that was when I lived in France. I was learning French and I was practicing it and having much stronger retention. Okay, so I hope this video helped. If you've got some tips or some tricks that really helped you learn a language, or maybe you've even tried Babbel already, please leave that below. I would love to hear your tips. And if you have any questions about my travel experience living abroad in France, I would love to answer those and to have maybe another video that focuses a bit more on those experiences. So you let me know in the comments, and I will talk to you guys very soon.